Hello and welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine, your transformational life coach, intuitive reader, and energy light worker, specializing in transformational times to help you move through change in joy. I want to talk about being fully present in the moment. We so many times are thinking about one thing while something else is going on, right? I mean, it happens to everybody. You want to pay attention, but maybe you're thinking of your grocery list when your spouse is complaining about their day job. Or perhaps you're thinking about what has to happen when you go home that night when a coworker's telling you about a problem at lunch. Or you're thinking, what this friend of mine is complaining constantly. I'm so tired of listening to it. So you don't actually catch what they're saying. So you don't focus on, you might even be good at focusing, but not necessarily in the present moment. I'm very good at focusing on what I'm doing right now, but not necessarily a person talking to me kind of right now. I'm good at working and typing and being with you on YouTube, paying attention to what I'm doing. But when it comes to actually talking to someone, when my mind might be somewhere else, it's not quite as good. I have to admit it. It really is a bit of a problem for so many people. And at other times, I also will admit to it, and I think maybe many people do, that when somebody's talking, you're thinking about what you can say. So you are waiting for them to pause. So you just jump right in, right? You're not actually being in that moment with them and listening and allowing them to have their say, to really hear them. If you've ever had people that are talking to you and you're not really listening, what do you think they're thinking? On the flip side, have you ever had someone listening to you while you were talking and you were really talking something important and moving on and they were looking at their watch, they went back to working while you were talking to them? Doesn't it make you feel like you're nothing, like you're not important enough to them? Kind of irritates you, doesn't it? You're not paying attention. But those few people who are really engaged with you, who seem like they're listening and are fully present and in the now with you, my goodness, aren't those people few and far between? You may not have even have found a person like that. But if you have, you know that feeling of being almost validated because they hear you. Even if they don't respond to what you say, if they feel like they're listening and really hearing what you're saying, that's all sometimes we want. How do you get there? You pretty much have to force yourself and get out of the habit of thinking about what else is going on. So the next time someone's talking to you, whether it's important or not, let everything else go just for a minute or two. See if you can practice kind of leaning into them, paying attention to them, letting them know that they're important to you, letting them know that this is something that matters to you. Because if they feel heard, they're going to be your new best friend. So be careful who you talk to and who you listen to this way, because if you don't like them, you may not want them to want to be around you. But if you can practice this, being more present with that person, focusing on what they're saying, really caring and communicating and leaning into them, you're going to see a huge difference. Now, if you actually do physically lean in a little bit to listen, if they lean away, don't lean in so far. Because some people get so engaged, they go, into the camera all the way forward, and you're going, it's a little too close for me. So people may back away from you. Allow them to do that. Allow them to be what they're doing, but still stay engaged. Just back the body off a bit if you need to, because sometimes it's a little unsettling, especially if they're talking about something very vulnerable to them, an issue that matters to them that's deep and kind of emotional. Then they don't necessarily want you too close to them unless you're putting your arms around them to hug them, and that feels like the right thing to do. But listening and being there for someone, that's one way to be more fully present in the now. Is to take the time, force yourself if you have to let go of what you're doing later, to let go of what you want to say to that person, so that your eyes, you can see the vacancy in somebody's eyes when they're thinking about something else. So let that go. Don't even worry about what you're going to say. If you stay fully engaged and curious about how they're doing, about what they can do next without thinking through everything, you'll have something to say. You don't need to say, okay, when they stop, I want to say this. I want to give them this advice. I want to, no, don't practice that right now. You can do that another time. But when you're practicing staying fully present with the person and truly listening from the heart, from the spirit, one spirit to another, it's going to be such a different response, especially if you do it to people that you always argue with. People, even children, spouse, if you really listen and say, yeah, I hear you, that can be really tough. I get that. And then you may not have to say anything from your side. Now, I have to admit, some people like to constantly complain. They will never give back to you, even if you do that. But it's still a good practice for you to get into. And then you don't have to be around the people, if you aren't living with them, overly amount. If you find people that specifically don't respond in a way that you want them to, they don't engage back with you that way, they don't smile and say thank you for listening, or they don't just even share more because they feel you're so connected to them. You may even get an email, a phone call, or a text later saying, you know, thank you for hearing me. I don't feel listened to that often. And that was amazing. It's true, we're too busy to listen. We're too busy to stay focused in the now because our now is all over the place. Our now is tomorrow, it's tonight, it's what am I going to say in 5 minutes? Make now, now. Make that listening part of the learning experience. You're going to have so many new friends. So many people are going to say, I hate to put this way because this isn't why we do it, but you're going to have people saying really nice things about you. You're a really nice person. You care. And if you have a strange kind of or a different type of persona that people think you don't care, this is one way to turn it around. Listen, be present, lean in, at least figuratively, if not literally, and show you care. It'll make a world of difference in all your relationships. Thank you for listening today. I'm Carol DeChaine. If you like what you hear, by all means, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell notification. I'd love to have you join me. And if you like what you hear and you want more information, please go to my website at www.connect2joy.com, which will be right below this video. And there you'll find information on coaching, on energy work for your home, your business, or your body and your emotions, as well as intuitive readings, which isn't on the website that much, but you can always contact me at the email there, as well as, of course, joining my blogs and click on the blog area and you can just sign right up for that as well if you want information once a week. Thank you again. Until next week.